I'm Rachel here today with UWorld Nursing. We're going to be going through some interview tips and tricks today. This is our first video in our career readiness series. We'll be walking through 3 phases: the before, during, and after your interview. Now, before we get started, I want to make a little disclaimer. A lot of our examples today are related to inpatient hospital nursing, but UWorld is proud to offer content that applies to any position in the nursing profession. So if you're interested in going into research, public health, clinic work, all of our tips and content today do apply to you. So let's get started. Okay, so we're gonna jump into before the interview. That's what we're gonna start with. So we're gonna go over your appearance. So what should you wear? You really wanna consider your attire. And we know that while you may have lived in scrubs and sweatpants during nursing school, for a nursing interview, business casual is preferred. So what do business casual clothes mean? So these are things like slacks, blouses, a shirt that's a button down or a collar, dresses, skirts, sweaters. You want to have nice shoes, so maybe some dress sandals, no flip-flops. You really just want to avoid looking sloppy. Another thing to keep in mind is you want to bring a nice notebook, maybe a leather bound, and then a pen to take notes because you want to look engaged during the interview. So the next thing we want to talk about is studying and doing your homework. Now, this is a great tip to take with you for the rest of your life. It's going to apply to any job, nursing included, so tell your friends. Just like you study for a test, you want to study for an interview. You're going to do homework on where you're applying, and so all of this includes knowing things like the company's mission and values, learning about the specific job and role you're seeking, knowing what activities you'll be expected to perform, like your roles and responsibilities, and writing down and preparing any questions you have for the interviewer. Again, you want to treat an interview like you treat a test in nursing school. You want to be prepared. So let's talk about your resume. Not only are you going to use your resume to apply online, you're also going to want to bring several copies with you to the interview. Managers may not have their computer with your application in front of them, so you want to have your resume to pass out so that they can follow along with your talking points and that you can relay information as you answer questions. Okay, so let's move on to the basics of a resume. You want to have it to be 1 page. If it's over 1 page, you're going to want to find a career coach or a mentor to help you condense it down. You want your contact info at the top. You want to indicate that references are available to request, but nothing more. This is a big point to take away. You don't want to include anything personal, any information or names about your references on your resume, because every job has different reference requirements and they're going to request them individually. You want to have a LinkedIn account. Remember, you want to sync that information with your resume. All the content should be the same. Remember that on your LinkedIn, you want a clean, professional headshot. No selfies or cropped pictures. Now, on your resume, you do not want to include personal information. No driver's licenses. You want it to be simple, clean, and to the point. So remember, you want your contact info at the top of your resume. This will include things like your email and your phone number because you want managers and interviewers to know how to contact you. So here's a mock nursing resume that we're going to go over block by block. Before we get into the specifics, let's just go over a few basic things to remember. Remember, you want to list your clinical hours. You want them to be clear with your location that you completed the clinical and how many hours you completed at the facility. You want to include all of your certifications. This includes things like PALS, ACLS, BLS, the NIH, if you're a CNA. Any certifications that you've gotten that's applicable to being a nurse, you definitely want to list these. If you've already taken the NCLEX, remember to list your license number. The very first thing employers are going to do is to verify that you have a nursing license. Now, if you haven't taken your NCLEX yet, no worries. You just want to list the month that you plan to take it. And it's okay if you don't know exactly when you'll take it. You just want to give employers a general idea. You want them to know that you're serious about passing and becoming a registered nurse and starting work. So let's start with breaking down the resume. We're going to start with her contact info at the top. So Sally Smith here, she has her title, her place of education, her address, and how to get in touch with her. Next, we're going to move into her education. You can see she has her nursing school, the city that she's from, her graduation, and her GPA. Now we have Sally's licenses and certifications. Again, you can see that she's listing a pending NCLEX date because she's still a student, so June of 2019. She's included all of her certifications, which is BLS, and being a CNA. So going on to her clinical experience. These are listed where Sally has done them and the amount of hours she's completed. Her senior capstone is to be decided since she's still in school. Anything up in the air can be listed as planned or to be decided for the future. You just want the employer to know that you're scheduled for that final clinical or that you're scheduled for your NCLEX and planning to take it. Here are Sally's campus organization achievements. This is where you want to include any leadership positions you've been involved with. These are things like college clubs, being a member of student organizations, or any research projects that you may have done in school. So now to move into her work experience. You can see that she's a CNA on a NICU and that she previously worked at Chick-fil-A. Sally has simple descriptions that describe her roles and responsibilities. You just need this to be basic. You can also see that at the bottom of her resume, in the footer on a Word doc, that her references are just available to be requested. Remember, we don't want to give any personal information about references. Also, you want to make sure that you ask someone to be a reference for you before you assume that they will be. Okay, so now we're going to move on to during the interview. We want to give you a heads up about who might be in your interview and who will be asking you questions, because it can be a range of people. This could be people like your HR representative, your future nursing manager, a nurse educator, and future staff nurses and coworkers. Remember, some hospitals are going to interview for multiple positions at one time. So if you're interviewing for 3 different floors, you might be in a room with managers, educators from all of those floors at once. I was in a room with 6 to 8 people, and they all sat around a table. This is again why it's important, like we mentioned earlier, that you bring multiple copies of your resume so that you can hand everything out to them and keep the group engaged. The first thing we're going to talk about during an interview is that you want to be the 3 C's. What does that stand for? The 3 C's stand for being coachable, communicative, and challenge-oriented. Now, while being coachable and communicative are pretty self-explanatory, you might be wondering what it means to be challenge-oriented. Well, this means that you're motivated by challenge. This is a huge selling point to see that a potential employee would be motivated by challenge as opposed to being deterred. You can display this by answering questions that you don't know with something like, I haven't experienced that before, but I would love to learn or speak with my preceptor about that. Work is always challenging, but it's particularly hard in a new job and a new role, and so this is why it's key to be challenge-oriented. So let's talk about situational interviewing. Situational interviewing is a specific style of interviewing done for nurses in particular, and it's based on situations and behaviors. What does this mean? This means that you're getting asked questions that reflect how you respond in real time and real events. So when you're studying and preparing for your interview, you want to be thinking of clinical or work examples that reflect your professional personality in a positive way. Our resume example, Sally, will have lots of examples from stressed parents from the NICU or upset customers from working in the restaurant business. She can talk about how she responds to people under pressure, how she responds when people are upset, or how she helps improve situations. Remember, your answers don't have to be nursing related. They can be work or personal based. You want to have 4 to 5 stories to share as examples. Okay, so it's very important that you ask questions during the interview. So what questions should you be asking? Remember, while during an interview the employer is trying to determine if you're a good fit for them, you're also trying to determine if they're a good fit for you, because you may get multiple offers and have a choice on where you want to work. This is why you want to do your research and get information to be able to make an educated decision. And also, you want to ask questions to show that you're an interested candidate. So let's go over some question examples. These could be things like, what is your typical nurse-to-patient ratio for this position? How would you describe the culture of your environment? What would my schedule look like? What are opportunities for growth and development? And are there opportunities or incentives for higher education or certifications? So let's go back to the schedule question. Some floors have an on-call schedule. You might be expected to work weekends or a set number of on-call days, so you want to cover this. Now, to talk about growth and development, employers like to see that you're interested in the company and in your own career. So you want to ask about unit council opportunities. Unit councils are groups of nurses that oversee different clinical projects like pressure injury prevention, safe staffing, things like that. For certifications, If you're an ICU new grad, as an example, you would have the potential to become certified as a critical care nurse. So you want to ask questions about these certifications that you might want to look into further into your career. So let's go back to the question on higher education. If you're an ADN and if you've gotten your associate's degree in nursing, you definitely want to tell the employer that you're planning to obtain a BSN, a Bachelor's of Science in Nursing. Many hospitals really want to see that you're interested in furthering your career and achieving that bachelor's. So you can ask about tuition reimbursement for these programs because many hospitals offer them because they want to encourage nurses in their career. Sometimes hospitals offer loan repayment as well, so make sure you get information on this. You also want to emphasize a 5-year plan. I used to not really understand what this was, and everybody seemed to talk about it. But everyone needs a 5-year plan. It can be hypothetical. It doesn't have to be set in stone. Lots of things change over 5 years. What a 5-year plan means is that you have an idea of a career plan over the next few years, and this shows employers that you're motivated and you're inclined to be a good worker. As an example, if you're interviewing as a new NICU nurse, you might be interested in becoming a neonatal nurse practitioner. So you can tell the employer that, in 5 years, I might see myself going back to school to become a neonatal NP, and here's how my experience as a staff nurse is really going to help me with that career goal. In the same way, if you're interviewing as a new ICU grad, you might be interested in becoming a CRNA and doing a doctoral program. So the last thing that we're going to follow up with is wrapping up after an interview and going through this follow-up process. You want to ask for a business card, even if it feels awkward at the end of your interview, because you really need to get an email or a physical address to send a thank you note. Most likely this will be an email. So the next day, you're going to send a follow-up note to each manager and each person who interviewed you. And you want to thank them for the opportunity to interview, and it would also be great to include a personal detail. This is really going to help you stand out from the other 50 generic emails that the manager receives. Maybe Brian from the ICU mentioned he was from Maryland. So maybe in Brian's email, you say something like, "Thanks so much for the opportunity to interview. It was so nice to meet a fellow Maryland fan. I really enjoyed learning about your unit and I hope to connect soon." Remember, this is short, personal, and to the point. So this wraps up our presentation here. Good luck on interviewing your NCLEX, and remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel. We have more great content coming up in our Career Readiness series. Thanks for watching.